This is part one of a three-part series that will talk about the differences between mainstream cinema, independent cinema, and also touching slightly upon political cinema. Okay, so mainstream cinema, to start us off, we often refer to it as being dominated by the big six. The big six are probably the production companies that you have heard of already: Warner Brothers, Fox, Disney, Paramount, Universal, Sony, dominated even further by Disney. They are all large conglomerates. Basically, they are large, massive multinational companies that have a monopoly over a particular industry. In this instance, it is Hollywood, but in particular, what we refer to as mainstream cinema for the popular masses. They dominate that industry with large budgets. They have a vast collection of intellectual property. That basically means the characters and brands and narratives that they own. The institutions will maximize their profit, as in the rich will get richer, by organizing their companies in what is referred to as vertical and horizontal integration. Basically, that means one company will own several other companies, and they will structure their organization to maximize their profits further. For example, if a company is vertically integrated, they will have several companies vertically stacked that will organize the entire chain of production, from filming to editing to the marketing company to the distribution, possibly even by owning several cinema chains themselves, so they get their product to the audience in a straight line, so to speak. Horizontal integration is similar, but it is where a company owns several companies that do the same thing, and many of those companies themselves may well be vertically integrated. For example, Disney own Pixar and Lucasfilm and Marvel and many other companies. All of those companies make films. All of those companies are probably vertically integrated themselves, where they have their own separate companies that can control the production, the distribution, and the exhibition of the films that they make. But at the top, Disney own all of them. They will also have merchandise opportunities which will attract ABC One audience members. Basically, we group those people together and assume that they have an education, therefore we assume they have a job, and therefore we assume they have disposable income to go to the cinemas X amount of times a month, to pay for the £10 to £12 ticket, to get a large Coke and a popcorn, to buy a new t-shirt, to get the special limited edition cup, and possibly buy a pop doll. Okay, so they have the disposable income to buy the merchandise, of which there will be several opportunities. They will appeal to the aspirer, the achiever, and the mainstream psychographic. So an aspirer will perhaps want to have the must-have Star Wars toy. The achiever probably has enough money to be able to buy it anyway, and the mainstreamer wants it because everybody else has it, and they go and see these films because everybody else is going to see them. They rely on large-scale marketing campaigns, but also word of mouth as well through viral marketing on social media. So they will have perhaps a social media campaign that might have some sort of user-generated content, some sort of competition, some sort of Easter egg enigma code that they have to find out and explore in order to win the new teaser trailer, for example. The cinemas themselves will take the form of large multiplexes, massive entertainment venues, which will also have several restaurant chains, all of which will be running a competition with a tie-in to the latest franchise or film. All of these entertaining complexes offer escapism, the gratification of escapism, but also opportunities for synergy. Synergy basically means working together. If I make £1 million and you make £1 million, lovely, we've both made £1 million. However, if we work together, we both might make cumulatively £3 million. Therefore, we've gained by working together. Okay, so the greater gains will be bigger and better and more lucrative than if we did that separately. Therefore, you often see synergy between Hollywood and the video music industry, a video game industry, fast food industry. So we might have a Hunger Games Subway tie-in. We might have a Spider-Man, Star Wars, Lego video game spin-off. The music video by Ed Sheeran or Justin Bieber might feature clips from the film in the music video. So that's synergy with Hollywood and other industries to make more opportunities for them both to make money. Evaluation in this section, we often see repetitive narratives, similar tropes being used all the time and time again, which leads to a lack of innovation, a lack of ideas, or a lack of new concepts. We see the reboot often. There are 3 separate Spider-Man 2s, for example. Hollywood will not feel too guilty about rebooting a franchise if it feels like it can make more money the second time round, particularly if the last one was a commercial flop, or perhaps was accused of not necessarily being innovative or repeated too many similar tropes. They will just try again with a new remake. Therefore, you get exhausted trends, oversaturation of certain genres. I've mentioned in class perhaps that there's a reason they don't do vampire films anymore. There's a reason they don't do pirate films anymore. And eventually the comic book genre will tire and audiences will get fatigued and they will eventually want something new. It's not happening at the moment, but it will happen eventually. The action genre we've also talked about as being a genre that is oversaturated and often used. Every year there'll be at least 3 or 4 big Hollywood action blockbusters. And a lack of opportunity for new directors if unproven. A bit of a catch-22. How do you become proven if you're not proven? How do you get an opportunity to show what you can do if you haven't already got a reputation as being a successful director? The conglomerates will not take a risk on you. They will go to someone they can trust instead. There's a few other bits and pieces just to have a look around. There's a flow diagram of the big 6 and the other companies and other intellectual properties they own. An example, obviously, of the saturated merchandise. You can see the logo of the company, of the franchise, just plastered over everything. A little bit of a tongue-in-cheek meta reference to Disney owning several different franchises at once, and this is a graphic. If you click, it will show you all the individual companies that Disney own. Have a look at that because that might surprise you, and just an example of what a kind of a mainstream multiplex looks like. Okay, so that is mainstream cinema. There's a second video on independent cinema. Please like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hopefully I will see you in that video. Okay, thank you for watching.